WYRK first went on the air as WADV-FM in 1962. That's about, what, 15 years before you were born?
Just about. Just about. The original owners, Dan and Nancy Lesniak, created a unique format, a mixture of jazz, big band music, and vocal standards hosted by genuine personalities. Some names you've definitely heard: Pat Vincent, Fred Klestein, Rick Bennett, Jerry Glenn, Bernie Sandler, Jack Horaho, and Ralph Irene. When the station was sold back in 1981, the format was changed to country music. Proved to be a smart broadcasting move.
That's right. WYRK rose to dominance over the years and consistently ranks at the top of the Arbitron ratings. It's now owned by Town Square Media, and WYRK continues to employ local announcers, including my co-host Clay Monin, who happens to be number one in his morning slot in Buffalo, as if we haven't heard already, Clay.
WADV, a world of music from Buffalo.
You never know when or where a great idea will strike. Dan Lesniak, an announcer for WWOL, was passing time waiting for jury duty when he read a magazine article about new technology, stereo FM radio. This cutting-edge idea excited Dan so much that he and his wife Nancy Lee started WADV Stereo 106 FM in 1962. WADV was on the air for 19 years, and Buffalo enjoyed great music and great on-air talent. Announcers like Dan Lesniak himself.
And a good day to you. A wonderful day out there. 40 degrees or so, but not bad, you know. For this time of the year, it's expected. Yet it's a good day to go out to do shopping, you know, and things like that, because there's no snow out there. Nothing to slop through.
Bob Coburnus.
3 down and 3 to go on the old Bob Coburnus program for Friday, wrapping up our weekend and taking leave from you for Saturday and Sunday. Oh yeah, and it doesn't look bad, maybe a little wet. We'll be here till noon. Dave Prescott, 12:05.
Rick Bennett, Joe Vincent, Bernie Sandler, and Fred Klestein.
The Monterey Jazz Festival Orchestra, conducted by Gil Fuller, getting us off on a swinging start this Saturday afternoon. Welcome to the more music here on WADV.
Even Lesniak's son Rick worked on the air.
Good music. WADV, the sound of Buffalo.
In 1981, WADV signed off for the last time. The station was sold to Stoner Broadcasting, and Dan Lesniak passed away shortly after the sale. Stoner immediately dropped the WADV formatted call letters, becoming WYRK with an automated country music format. Ken Johnson became program director in 1982, moving to the 5th floor of the Rand building and taking the station live, hiring Dale Musson and John Lamont.
The Breakfast Club, not just a hit with ladies. They got the guys' attention too.
I love it. Oh, Dale, you are a sweetheart.
So you got 3 pair of underwear, so what do? I mean, when it gets dirty,
Rotate.
you just rotate them?
Rotate.
You turn them inside out.
John Lamont.
Good morning, I'm John Lamont.
I just heard you talking about Orlando.
The first 3 GMs of WYRK were Al Fetch, Kitty Bocock, and Ralph Christian, credited by Johnson as keys to the success of WYRK through the early 90s. Since the 90s, WYRK had several owners, including American Radio Systems, CBS, Infinity, Regent, and current owner Town Square Media, and has been managed most of the last 2 decades by Jeff Silver, and is currently managed by Rich Chiano. WYRK has had many PDs over the years, including John Paul and the current PD Wendy Lynn, but has remained a consistent #1 ratings winner with the top-rated morning show, The Breakfast Club, with Clay Moten, Dale Musson, and Josh Mulett.
The Breakfast Club with Clay and Dale on 106.5 WYRK. Wait, now what do you say?
WYRK strives to give back to its faithful listeners through its involvement over the years in countless charities, fundraisers, benefits, and concerts. All the things that make a consistently successful radio station.
Well, it's one of the biggest events of the year. It is this Friday. It's the Bash with the American Red Cross and the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure coming up this Saturday. It's the 6th annual Hospice Buffalo's 5K Walk and 1 Mile Fun Walk.
That's why tonight, the Buffalo Broadcasters Association is proud to honor two great stations, WADV, first in stereo FM, and Country 106.5 WYRK for 50 years of outstanding radio for listeners in Buffalo and Western New York.
Rich, our general manager, closed our tab, so. I came in relatively, later on in the frequency, WYRK, so I'm kind of the new kid, and it was such an easy job to come into an established format at that time, WYRK Country, working with such people like Clay and Dale, who's been with the station for a number of years. I'm going to let Dale take the floor here.
Yeah, a number of years is right. One of my fondest memories, though, is eating hot dogs at Ted's on the Boulevard and listening to WADV back in the 70s. And they played that on the sound system back then. But little did I know that a few years later I would be working at 106.5, a different format, country music on an FM station, certainly a risk. And we had some growing pains. Our general manager, Al Fetch at the time, he got some death threats because he changed the format. We were an automated format, as you saw, and we had some growing pains with that too. Automated because we were playing reel-to-reel tapes. We had 4 decks, and they were tails out. Anybody that knows radio, you know what that means. Tails out means you put it on the right deck, you rewind it, and then you play it. Well, we got a young lady, she didn't realize that's what you do. So every 4th song would be played backwards. So our program director called her up and said, "You're playing it backwards. You got it on backwards." And he said, "You didn't realize that?" She said, "I thought it was supposed to sound like that." Well, anyway, we have come a long way. I've worked with some incredible talents. Frank Benny did our mornings back in the mid-'80s. He could talk about anything and sound like an expert. And of course, now with Clay, he makes me laugh every day. I love you.
Thank you.
All right. So on behalf of Town Square Media and WYRK, thanks so much.
Some big compliments there, buddy.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
it. Actually, this is kind of embarrassing, but I was going to see if being the #1 morning show host, you might be able to help me get the #1 morning show host's autograph.
I was actually thinking this was going to come up sooner or later, since I've been talking to you. And who should I make this out to?
I was talking about getting Dale's autograph, to be clear.
We'll have to wait till after.
Oh, okay, I see.
But I brought a couple extras. Just
If
in
anyone's
case.
interested, he's got some extra.
It really is a great station to work for. If I could just cut in real quick and say that country music is so big right now, not only amongst the generation that you would think, the 25 to 54-year-olds, but the young generation, just incredible. And we have guys like Dale to thank for the strength of WYRK. The Behind the Scenes Award is